I'm Casper Van Dien. You're watching RPadTV.
I'm Raymond, and you are watching RPadTV 3000. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. Now, as you know, I am a big fan of Ahsoka Tano. I think she is one of the most wonderful Star Wars characters since the original trilogy, and I am incredibly excited for her show debuting on Disney Plus real soon. Now, some of you only know Ahsoka from her appearances in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, and a lot of you loved her from that. But there is so much more to this character. She's had so many words written about her, and she has such a rich history that a lot of people that only watch the Star Wars Disney Plus shows really don't know about. So to help you learn more about Ahsoka and get the most out of her series on Disney Plus, I have some recommendations of some episodes that you should watch to get to know Ahsoka Tano. Now, before I get to that, if you like the content that I make, please like and subscribe. My social media is all up there. I could really use some help on Facebook. So if you can like me on Facebook, I would really appreciate it. If you really want to help me out, check out some of my merch. It's available on Amazon stores around the world. You can check out the links and get more details following this link below, RPadTV/merch. Now let's get to the episodes. Naturally, we're going to kick things off with the Clone Wars. Now, most of you know that Ahsoka Tano was Anakin Skywalker's Padawan, or apprentice, if you don't want to use those terms. There's a lot of great episodes in the Clone Wars, but there's also a lot of filler. And most of these stories have more to do with Anakin and Obi-Wan than they do with Ahsoka. But there are some Ahsoka-centric episodes, and I think it's best to start off with Season 5. If you go from episode 18 in season 5, The Jedi Who Knew Too Much, all the way up to episode 20, The Wrong Jedi, you will be treated to one of the best Star Wars stories ever told. To me, this is where Dave Filoni really elevated his game. I always thought he was a really good storyteller, but this elevated him into legendary status. These stories at this level, and he will tell many more later, that are just as good or maybe even better. This is what's going to elevate him to a legend. People are going to be talking about this man in 20, 30 years, along the same lines as they talk about George Lucas in terms of an incredible world builder, an incredible storyteller. To me, it all started here with Season 5, Episode 18 through 20. Next, we're going to skip ahead to Season 7 of the Clone Wars, specifically the last 4 episodes. Now, this is interesting timeline-wise, because some of the events in these episodes take place just before Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars Episode 3, and some of them take place towards the end of that episode. So you start things off where Anakin Skywalker is still Anakin Skywalker, but at the end, he's made his full heel turn to Darth Vader. Now, these are really powerful stories that kind of build upon the last 3 episodes in terms of Ahsoka's effect on Anakin and how that kind of nudged him towards the dark side. I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but some of these events are really instrumental into the whole Star Wars tale of the whole Skywalker family. As an added treat, you also get a lot of Bo-Katan, who some of you love from The Mandalorian, and you get some Darth Maul. Now, there are some people, I remember my brother was like, what the hell is Darth Maul doing in Han Solo? But if you watch the Clone Wars, you will see how the characters survived, evolved, and became something really special through Dave Filoni. So the last 4 episodes of the last season of the Clone Wars are essential viewing, in my opinion, and just great stuff. Next, we're going to move from the Clone Wars to Star Wars Rebels. Honestly, I think you should watch this whole entire series because it's really just that good. This is my favorite Star Wars movie, television, anything since the original trilogy, and it's where Dave Filoni cemented himself as a legend to Star Wars fans. More importantly, a lot of people think of Ahsoka Season 1 as Star Wars Rebels Season 5. So getting to know some of these new characters, new to you, that you've seen in these trailers, like Sabine Wren, like Harrison Dula, you'll get to know a whole lot more about them, and I guarantee you'll fall in love with them if you watch all of Rebels. That said, I know not everyone has time to watch 4 seasons of an animated show, so let's boil it down to the essentials. I recommend starting off with Season 2, Episode 10, The Future of the Force. By this point in the series, Ahsoka is hanging out with the Rebels crew, and in this episode specifically, we get to see how powerful she's become. While she's not quite a Jedi, she is still a really powerful Force user nonetheless, and we get to see her show off her skills in this episode. We're going to stick with Rebels Season 2 and fast forward all the way to the end to a two-parter called Twilight of the Apprentice. There is a lot going on here. Ezra has been tempted by the dark side. We have more Darth Maul, and just a really cool character at this point who is nothing like the Darth Maul that we see in the movies. He actually talks and has interesting things to say. No offense, Ray Park. I know you're an awesome action guy, but you did not do this job on Darth Maul. More importantly, or most importantly, we get to see a confrontation between Ahsoka Tano and her old mentor, who is now fully dark side and totally Darth Vader at this point. It's such an awesome scene, and you will love this. Closing out my essential Ahsoka Tano episodes are the last 4 episodes of Season 4 of Star Wars Rebels. Now, there's so much going on here. It starts with an episode called The World Between Worlds, which I think is going to be really essential to the Ahsoka series. We see a map room that resembles the World Between Worlds, and I expect we're going to see more of that in the series. Now, some of the scenes in the finale of Rebels were recreated in the trailer for Ahsoka, so I expect we're going to see the full versions of these in the series itself. Again, I have to reiterate how incredible Star Wars Rebels is as a whole, and how it's really, to me, one of the best Star Wars anything since the original trilogy. So if you get a chance, please make time to watch the entire series because it is that good. But if you don't have the time, please watch the episodes that I've outlined in this video. So those are the essential Ahsoka Tano stories that I recommend to watch before watching the live action series. But wait, there's more. If you have time, there are a few more episodes that will not only help you learn more about Ahsoka Tano herself, but help you learn about where she fits in terms of the Force and all the Jedi. First, let's go back to the Clone Wars, specifically Season 3. There's a trio of episodes, starting with Episode 15, Overlords, Episode 16, Altar of Mortis, and Episode 17, Ghosts of Mortis. Now, this introduces characters, the father, the son, and the daughter, who all represent different aspects of the Force and how the Force has to stay in balance. It also introduces Morai, who is the owl that some of you might remember following Ahsoka Tano. Morai has appeared in Star Wars Rebels and The Mandalorian. But really, these episodes give you a macro view of the Force and what it means to that whole galaxy far, far away. It also gives hints of why Ahsoka is so important to the future of the Force and why she's so essential. Lastly, we're going to go to Tales of the Jedi, an animated series released in 2022. The first and last 2 episodes of this 6-part series follow Ahsoka Tano and tell you more about her. The first episode goes into her birth and how she was identified as being Force sensitive. Episode 5 has to do with Ahsoka's training and helps explain how she got out of some of the tight squeezes she was in the end of the Clone Wars. And lastly, Episode 6 of Tales of the Jedi shows how Ahsoka Tano got drawn back into the fight against the vile intergalactic empire. That's a wrap of my list of essential Ahsoka Tano stories. If you watch any of these episodes, please let me know what you thought about them by leaving a comment below. If there are any important Ahsoka stories that you think I left out, please let me know what those are. Again, if you like the content that I make, please like and subscribe. If you really like the content that I make, or if you just like me in general, that might be tough. I know that I'm not the most likable guy in the world. Please consider picking up some RPadTV merch. As always, thanks for watching RPadTV 3000, and I'll see you next time.